I guess they're called refs. So Ray is the human calculator to numerical nomenclature. They're trying to, those.
We're live and
What the fuck are you talking
The call sign.
You have to see in one of our streams. This is the intro, the standard intro.
Call sign. I gotta figure out call signs for these places.
Oh.
Welcome to the greatest colloquy of captains in existence. I'm here with the boys. Behind, he's the man in the chair today. He can't be with us here because, he sucks and he couldn't figure out how to do two
Not
things.
the square table. Here.
He's the man. He's the man in the chair today.
The man in the
He's
throne.
computer guy.
The man in the throne.
We got the human calculator with the numerical nomenclature. Raytron, uno, dos, tres. We have the man of the planet, the ultimate Nas fan. No, Nas fan. I did it again. Nas fan, the electric goat, E to the J. And then we have the Sigma Supreme.
The Almighty.
The Almighty, sure. Sigma Supreme, the Almighty, Yujiro in real life. Rap. And I have to figure up a call sign on the fly for our boy who's still here. But we'll say.
Puerto Rican prince.
The flannel.
No.
Oh shit, Dominican like me. Nice.
Dominican what?
My Dominican brother right here with the
The Dominican Dynamo!
The big mountain stands. The Dominican look, the big mountain stands.
The big mountain Dominican Dynamo. Justo. Alright, let's get started. So we just watched Juice. Earlier we watched Fresh. So we're trying to give you guys like a nice little
But you guys want to start off with Fresh or
in-depth conversation.
I would say I'm guessing given that we just watched Juice,
So
phrase the conversation.
Still fresh in our minds.
Right. To keep Juice still fresh in our conversation, let's start with Juice, and as we progress, we will relate it back to Fresh to see where the differences lie. I think that's the easiest way to start this conversation.
All right, so if we starting off with Juice, let's go around. Y'all give y'all thoughts on the film. How y'all felt about it?
You want to start?
No.
Okay, I'll start.
Yeah.
So what I liked about Fresh is set the perfect background.
Fresh?
It was no.
We just watched Fresh.
We watched Fresh a little while ago.
Maybe 2 weeks ago.
But Juice is what he's talking about now.
Right, so Juice set the background perfectly lined up. It had very good triggers to give you an expectation at the end of the movie, yet without spoiling what the end game would be. I guess my only disappointment with the film is very rapid escalation of character. Right, the guys, they almost, despite your little minor red flags, certain characters were very consistent and others switched up. Especially Bishop, who was the main antagonist. Yeah. He almost seemed to switch on a fly. You almost did not expect it to happen too quickly because they did not give enough emotional context to why he would be moving this way. I think that's my only gripe with the movie and my only criticism.
Okay.
I did not have enough substance to believe that someone you knew from the second grade would turn on you so quickly. But I do like the excellent disposition between the main protagonist, who was on his rising, versus the antagonist, who was clearly sinking throughout the whole film through the red flags. I just wish there had been a little more substance to the levels he went. I feel like the levels are a little bit extreme.
It was from 1 to 5 to 50. It's wait, what is that jump?
It's almost it's a big jump, but
has to be given some kind of context behind it.
Okay, so one of the biggest moments I have of context of that is when he realized when he was getting attacked by the
Spanish
guys who were in the crew, he noticed Steele was looking out for him. Steele was one of the ones who was ready to go with Quincy to basically interview the situation and work as Raheem did. Right? He was trying to work as Raheem was moving. Yet Juice somehow targeted Steele first. So for me, that shows a little bit of not clear thought and how
Yeah.
aggressive the antagonist is being. It shows a little bit less refinement in the character because anyone who's kind of in that ordeal where they're willing to turn on their friends kind of goes down this chain of selection where
Yeah.
who's less loyal to me, but he chose to do someone who was a little bit more loyal at first, and I don't know if he did that due to Steele's like emotional vulnerability, because we always saw Steele as an emotional kind of guy. He was really for the mommies. He was trying to dress fly when he came out the crib. He has the boombox playing. He's a little bit more social, and
Right.
and Steele is even saying like, yeah, like people respect me. He
Yeah.
felt very respected in the community, and yet at the same time he's very loyal. So for me, that the only instant that like kind of struck me as okay, Bishop is unhinged was really that when he turned on that friend first,
Right.
because a more hinged
I
person.
don't think it was deliberate though. I don't think he was going for Steel first. I think it was more of like it was easier, cause he could convince Steel.
Right, but
Steel, he knew he wasn't gonna go for his shit.
right, but
He don't even dodge
I mean, it was
the
also
bullet.
it was also a thematic thing.
Right,
Because
but-
Q was the one that he has to stand against because they were the most opposed in their
Yeah.
viewpoints. So it was thematic as well. That's why Steele died in the middle rather than Q.
right.
Yeah.
My only issue with this is even still, while you kind of prey on the lesser first. Remember when he held up Q at the end? He said, "Here's what we're going to do." It showed foresight, showed planning, but taking out Steele first lacked that same planning. He saw at the end and said, "Here, you're going to do this. You're going to say this. You're going to say that." Because he even went to I don't know the guy's name, but it was played by Samuel L. Jackson 1st to express to him that Quincy's unhinged. So if he was more because
You mean
Oh
Bishop?
no! But then that confirms.
no, Bishop went to Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, but
Oh,
then
that Quincy.
But then see, that confirms everything. That means he was saving Q for the last to set up his plan.
Right, but if he was saving Q for the last step of his plan, it wouldn't make sense to kind of work with Steele, right? Like, it's
To
a
go
little
against
bit
Quincy.
right. It's a little bit of a stretch because if there had been a communication scene between him and Steele versus just him inviting Steele out at the staircase, I'm guessing that was the communication. He may have gotten mad at the phone call, and that from there he decided
At the arcade. Yeah.
right. He decided to change agendas, right?
Yeah.
I almost wish they expressed that he had some sort of desire to say, "Yo, Steele, we're just going to throw Q under the bus."
Yeah.
And then, like, it would have been so impactful if they had seen when he says, "Yo,
But I think Bishop wasn't looking for that because he
I don't think he ever
he
planned
because
on
because he felt, at least in his heart, that he could handle that Q situation on his own. He
Yeah.
didn't need to recruit.
Exactly.
Right.
Steel for
No,
nothing.
the moment he saw them betray him, they were both dying. He
Yeah.
did
Right,
not
right.
care.
But even in that betray scene, Steele was ready to go
To
look
go
out
for
him.
him. Yeah.
But he didn't
Right,
care.
right.
Steele didn't do it. So
Oh,
he
Right,
was-
right.
he
But
didn't do
that's
it.
the problem
Yeah.
because he didn't care the fact that Steele respected him.
Yeah, but remember
You
what
can
he said?
see.
Remember what did he say when he had the gun on Q? I don't give a fuck about you. I don't give a fuck about
Right.
Steele. I don't give a fuck
But
about
that's the beauty
nobody.
of it because at that moment he dropped Steele, you can see the level of power derangement where he
Yeah.
didn't. The number one thing this antagonist did, he did not value respect at all.
Yeah.
He like the
Exactly.
antagonist Bishop did not care about
Look how
respect.
quickly he killed Roy.
He was simply caught up in the I got the sword, I got the gun, I got the power, I got the juice. He did not value respect
Wait, so
at
I mean,
all.
maybe that's something we should focus on. That idea in the film that power corrupts.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Wait, like, do you guys think the film showed like a decent display of that classic idea?
I wish there was the natural life balance of alternating between the two, respect and power. Because if power truly corrupts, you have to know what power is. The antagonist did not quite know that respect has built power.
Or maybe he just didn't believe that. He
And
believes that
right,
power
but
itself.
we knew he did not believe that because the whole film, he almost saw Quincy in the living room.
Yeah.
Over what? Over just simply, oh, we always gotta run away. We always gotta run away. Why? Because the same people are running from.
Wait, so maybe the film is aiming to show you that he doesn't understand that. And
Yeah,
that-
I think that's the key of the film is showing you a man who's so obsessed with power he does not understand respect.
Yes.
Because you're not running from the shop owner because he has a gun.
Yeah.
You're running from the
Yes,
shop
power.
owner because he's a shop owner. In this
Oh,
corner is his store. You're standing in front of
Yeah.
his
But
store.
Bishop himself is only running because he has the power, the juice in that scene.
Right. That's the
Yeah.
reason he shot the shop
Exactly.
owner. Because now that I
He's
have,
reclaiming the juice.
now that I have power over you, now that I'm the
I
one
can
with the
get
gun,
revenge.
despite all the fact that I'm in your store, robbing you. I've been posted up in front of your store and you chased me off with a gun. I'm so hurt about posting up in front of your store and being chased off that now when I have
in
it,
this moment.
it feels like a revenge. Yeah, it's very much a revenge moment.
Yeah. And then the cool thing about that scene is like, okay, he shoots him, right? He makes it seem like it was an accident. But then you look at his actions later in the movie, and it makes you think, okay, maybe he really did just do that shit on purpose. Because he was trying to pretend that he did it accidentally in the moment. Oh, he moved. You saw him. He moved. Yeah. But then you see later in the movie, he's a very sneaky.
Nah, he definitely, definitely embraces that villain.
Even when he killed Rocky, he was like, oh, man.
Yeah.
I don't know why Rocky did that. Like, he was just like, oh,
so now you gotta wonder. Did he just do some light Yagami shit and just knew who he was gonna kill right away?
It's almost like the perfect antagonist. Yeah. Because my problem with when I watch movies is I try to analyze it from the fact that I want the antagonist to have some fluctuation, right? But he was headstrong on that. Yeah. If I got the power, everything's going to go my way. He really thought everything was going to go his way.
Because remember what we were talking about, where he might have killed Raheem. Because Raheem filled the leader role. Mm-hmm. So did he kill him hoping to fill that role himself? Yeah. That's what I'm wondering.
It's quite a possibility. There's no direct link to that. Yeah. But remember, Raheem was very about respect.
Yeah.
Raheem was, we're just going to do the right thing. We're not going to go out like the guy who held up the bar. Cautious, we can't do that. Cautious. He was about respect. We're going to get big. We're fine. Let's take our time. We're good. We got a good crew.
I mean, he did hold up the guy in the deli though, so that was Raheem's idea.
Raheem came up with the idea because he thought to think like Bishop.
Yeah, but he didn't want nobody to die. He just wanted
He wanted to get the money to show like, well, when we post up, you're not chasing us off no more.
Yeah,
you're just gonna say, okay, these guys robbed me before. Let me take it easy on. Let them have the spot and just make a deal. See, Raheem was really more about making a deal. Even when he was arguing with the guy after they got into a problem with Bishop and they're pressing Bishop, he was more about, let's just get it flat. Let's just get it flat by any means. Mm-hmm. The problem is when they were fighting in Steele's crib, knocking on the furniture, he said, okay, it almost creates a reason to get money, right? Because they were in Steele's crib, they tore the shit up. They broke furniture. Oh, man, my mom, this is not how I'm going to... Yeah. Right? So they had motive. Now they had the perfect opportunity because they're also thinking ahead. Quincy's on the come up. He's in the DJ battle. He's already got selected. You trust your mans. So now they're trying to rocket ship, right? They're just going to say, okay, Quincy coming up. Let's pull our play. Let's get double that juice, double that hood juice. That hood juice would say, okay, we could spin the deli, go to the DJ competition and win. That's hood juice. Because what are all these rappers and all these like hood guys talking about? They're talking about doing crime, getting away with it, and acting normal. Right? That's the biggest flex. So if you could spin the deli that you always hang out with, rob it for a couple hundreds, show up to the DJ competition, win, now you're famous. So the fact that you robbed the deli don't matter because you could just pay the deli. Keep that hush-hush, right? Because juice come in funny forms, right? If we're talking about juice as power, comes in funny forms. Juice could be, I rob you today. Imagine I just rob you, beat your ass, and I give you $1 million tomorrow. Are you really going to be mad? Right? So in the head, they were riding that power wave. Yeah. Whereas as long as I could keep giving more to pay back my debts, I don't have to worry. And that is even why Bishop was like, oh man, Raheem, oh man, the deli owner, because he's thinking in his head, if I keep getting this power, they're going to feel that same way eventually.
Yeah, follow my command type.
Not by follow my command, not by even feeling the same way about, but by money make it right.
I mean, what do you think, Ray? Do you think? Oh, you don't want to talk? You want to?
You playing League?
All these really shit. But you know.
Okay, no, forget. I was gonna ask
you. Sound like you're playing League of Legends, bro.
I'm off.
Yeah, bro. I see the mouth flicks. You can't fool it.
All right, so let's go around real quick before we go into more questions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What was your thoughts on the film?
So, I mean, like I said, I feel like the film itself could have a lot of messages projected onto it, like just the idea of like when I was looking at the film, because I saw the Malcolm X posters and stuff, I was wondering if it was like a symbolic depiction of like the black struggle. Where you have some people who are like, oh, we need to rise up and take it to the man right away, right? Then you have the other people who are more cautious, like Q. Like, no, we gotta take our like Raheem, I guess.
Raheem was the
We gotta
leader.
we gotta take our time. We gotta build things. We gotta build our way to there.
Move smartly.
Exactly. So I wonder if it was like a competition between those two ideals, or the idea that like, because even like in modern social justice, like theory and that kind of stuff, a lot of these people I feel like aren't even like, they don't care about eliminating these ills, these social ills. They just want the power, you know, like Nietzsche's talked about.
Yeah.
They want the power, so they hide behind like a
god facade.
Yeah, like a facade. They hide behind like the good guy facade and trying to do good when they're really seeking that power. And the thing with Bishop, with him like ascending too fast, I didn't have as much of a problem with it because I feel like it shows you, because like a lot of films try very hard to portray a villain as like this sympathetic character. But there are some people out there who are just shit. They're terrible people. Mm-hmm. And some of them are really good at hiding it. And I guess just throughout this friendship, no one knew that like who Bishop really was.
Because even as how unhinged he was.
Exactly. Because even as me and Rachel are watching the movie, we're looking at it and we could see certain people we knew who, if you gave them this amount of power, would probably do exactly the same thing.
You could see it, and Pac does a good job of that with Zach, and like the facial expressions. Like the minute he gets to hold on to the gun.
What he say?
Yeah, some of the things he said.
I got it now, right? He said, because I got it.
And those things are like small in the moment because he's not holding the gun on anybody, but you know it's like a foreshadowing to something later.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, that's a good way of showing like, okay, this is him unraveling before your eyes, but you don't know what it means yet in the moment, but you're gonna see.
Yeah, what it is you didn't know how far you could take it.
Yeah.
Because how many people have said stupid stuff like that when you had the power? Like, yeah, it's mine, you know? You almost get greedy with it.
And you gotta watch out for people like that.
Right, but at the same time, most people who even express those things don't take it this far.
Yeah.
They're almost saying it jokingly, but the end of the game is to take it this far.
Yeah.
Shows a level of like, as you said, unraveling.
Yeah.
What I liked about the movie is the unraveling, despite how sudden it felt, it was perfectly progressive. Right? Like, had I been as unhinged as Bishop, yeah, that's the route I would take. What I like in movies is when they make it a little bit more human, where they get the variance of, okay, he's gonna do this now because he saw that.
Yeah, but I mean,
I like the minor detail now.
I feel like some people are so evil, it goes beyond logic. Like, they're just evil people. They're not thinking through their actions. They just, you heard what he said. He literally was like, I don't give a fuck about nobody. I don't even give a fuck about myself.
Well, that's a big moment.
That's like my favorite scene in the movie.
But that it's a big moment because you saw the level of derangement.
They were showing you that this motherfucker is not on this planet.
And it was so dark, he was talking about himself in that way. He said, I don't give a fuck about myself.
But
so what makes you think I'm going to treat you better than me?
Yeah, but isn't the beauty of it is you realize this guy did not even respect his own life.
Yeah.
His own creation, right? He did not respect those two things.
So of course he's not going
to
be
far gone
already.
Yeah, so
the man was so obsessed with power that it wasn't about respect anymore at that moment. Yeah. Because if you violate life in this life and you think that you really don't value yourself, you are now a level of obsession of power that you don't even realize. Because where are you going to get to power from? You're going to get power from respect or just having force, right? Respect or force is really what gives a man power. A lot of people don't realize it's either respect or force. Yeah. You know, if a big dude came up to me with 20 guns, he came up to me, 20 guns, big dude, I'm 10 meters away, he could blast me to oblivion before I get there. If he respects me, he would never shoot. He would never even bother. Say, okay, I respect you, come, talk, right? Yeah. But when you get to that level of obsession where you don't respect your own life, you can no longer have that respect that even protects you.
Yeah, if you can't even relate to your fellow being, you like if you see yourself as a piece of shit, then you see everything as a piece of shit.
Right. Yeah. And that's why a lot of the reflection of what people do to you is really just a reflection of themselves. Yeah. This is why men have gathered for centuries and have gathered together off of just simply respect. Because respect is what keeps you safe. Power is what gets you to get done what you need to at the moment. Yeah. And no matter what, you would not instill a level of power versus people you truly respect. Right? This is why friends don't really fight. This is why friends get along and they conversate.
You got too much respect for them for that.
The respect level keeps it mutual. The second you have a friend who doesn't appreciate themselves, doesn't care about yourself, you have to get them to correct that within.
Yeah, and then if you respect your fellow man enough, then you're not going to use your power to force it on random people.
Exactly. Right.
And
You
that
would not go this far.
And that also has the scene where I think Q and Bishop were fighting, and they broke Steel's play.
That's when they stopped, right?
They did not respect Steel's face enough at all at
to
that
not
point
fight there.
to not fight
Right,
there
right,
and give a fuck.
Right. Because I always think it goes one thing: domain, person, and person. Right. If I'm in my friend's domain, and two of the people there have issues, you have to have enough respect to sort that so that we don't ruin the domain.
Right.
This is why the best mediation points are places where there's mutual respect, right? Like if, let's say, three friends are arguing and they go to the mutual friend's house, that's the best place to sort it out because now there's mutual respect for the environment.
Or even the presence of the mutual friend usually makes it so that you respect them so much
Exactly.
you don't want to.
Even if you have a problem, then you're like, we're not.
We're not going to do it in front of him.
Exactly.
Right.
Or even just like in this house at all, like we take this outside if we need to, but we're not doing this.
I think the moment like Bishop thought he lost power over the crew was when he was trying to get them to all ride with the guy who died. Remember that triggered the demon in him because that's when he fought Quincy. Because Quincy told him, said, "Yo, we went with him. It would have been 5 dead. It would have been 5
Before
dead."
Tupac killed Raheem, Raheem was the one that had the juice of the crew. Like he,
He was the one.
Definitely.
He was the one with the most respect, and that's why they showed the funeral. We've seen mad people there.
Yeah, that's why he died first.
He was the one with the most respect, and unfortunately, because he had so much respect, the one who was obsessed with just simply power took him out.
Yeah.
Right? But the end game is it's kind of weird because they paint this like power respect dynamic, but you have Quincy, who maybe at best was second in command. Right? At best he was second in command, but there's no.
Well, no, because like the whole thing was like Quincy. The whole like theme of the movie is that he doesn't stand up and fill the role he should, and now he's being thrust into that role. He had no choice. He had to become like the leader or the hero in this moment. He didn't want to be the hero. He was a reluctant hero, but he had no choice.
Right. So we look at Quincy's situation versus Raheem's situation. Raheem, baby mama drama. He's fucking a married guy's wife. Like all these things lower your respect level, right? You guys think
Quincy's fucking the guy's wife.
Okay, Quincy's fucking the guy's wife. Raheem got baby mama drama. Quincy thinks he's big shot because he's fucking a guy's wife. Quincy's going through baby mama drama. He's got sister. He's got mom. He got grandpa. He's got a lot of people in his life, right? So off of that, many people in his life, everyone's at the funeral. Everyone's good. The turmoil he had, like even Quincy was saying, like, "Yo, like, why are you arguing with your baby mama? Like, what's wrong with you?" But yet Quincy's is the one running up to ruin some guy's marriage. So in a way, they're kind of dualities of two wrongs, right? You got Quincy sliding up to ruin some guy's marriage, and Raheem. Right. But it's not Raheem in the same shoes of the same guy that, like, Quincy is running a guy over. He's running Frank over, right?
Yeah.
So is Raheem not in the same shoes? Because that baby mama trying to fuck with someone with established, right? She even expressed that.
Yeah.
So there's almost like this double step in that because you got Quincy over here out fucking this bad milf mommy with the marriage. I don't know if it was ever established if she had kids or not.
Yeah, I don't think it was established.
Yeah, it wasn't established, but he's doing that. And Raheem is simply arguing with his baby mama, trying to get shit working. He's got sisters. He's got family, right? He's trying to do the right thing, right? So even in that, who is really the leader? They're both kind of fuck-ups, but one is fucking up in the right way. Raheem is trying to make it work, right? Like, it's just, oh, I know you fucking that bitch, but, like, he wanted to be there for his child. He was really on to try and be there for their child.
I think Raheem was more of, like, the leader because of that whole voice of reason.
Yeah, he filled the role.
Like, he would talk and they would listen. And that has power in itself. So I think when it came to Raheem, like, he could calm a Bishop down. Like, he could talk him to him.
Mm-hmm.
And he would
But
listen.
when Bishop got him out of the way,
But that's also why he felt confident to fight Bishop, even though Bishop had the juice, the weapon,
Yeah.
right? He felt confident enough to find that this guy would not kill me. We're gonna scuff it out. I'll take the gun from him, and I won't shoot him. He came into that combat with no intention
Yes.
to kill Bishop. That's very important. He entered that brawl with no intention to kill Bishop. Bishop shoots him to his own surprise.
Yeah.
So I want to take this to the point where, like, if you realize that he thought he was in more control of the group than he was, it almost makes sense that the one to step up was kind of at odds with him. In terms of, like, I'm fucking somebody's wife. I'm trying to make the baby mama shit work, and I know she just wants to fuck other niggas who got it. She's literally saying that. I don't need this for my son. I'm gonna get me a real man. Like, you ain't shit. While the other guy's making another guy.
And Pac was hitting it too. That was
Right.
crazy.
But he's making it crazy because the other guy's just like, okay, yo baby daddy ain't shit. That's literally what he's saying. If your husband ain't shit. Oh, he got bad attitude. What's wrong with that guy, right? So they're both at odds in that kind of relationship regard. I'm done good. So if they're at odds in the relationship regard, it's almost perfect that at the end of the day the guy thought.
Well, see, but it's Q is the one who's fucking the guy's wife.
I know, but Raheem got the baby mama.
Right.
Yeah, but Bishop
So-
is the one who killed him.
I know Bishop's the one who killed him.
Oh, you're saying the one
But-
to replace him.
Right. So that it makes sense that the man of the opposite lifestyle, the opposite direction,
In there, little
had no choice but to kind of step up. If you watch Quincy's movements, he's going with $25 to get a piece, and he only gets it off of what?
Family connection. Yeah.
Family connection, respect. That's the only reason he got the piece. What did he do with the piece? He throws respect out the window. That's what he did. He took the respect he had because he got the piece. Throws
You
it
see that
right
as
out.
respect being thrown
Yeah,
out
but
the
what
window?
really happened in that scene is he pulled the gun on the homeless guy.
Right.
Felt he was becoming
Right,
too
right.
much like
That's a
Bishop.
powerful
But
moment.
that's the beauty of the moment. I'm glad you brought it. That's the beauty of the moment because he saw the corruption of that
That was-
blatant force.
Yes.
It's really blatant force. Weapons are blatant force. So he got the blatant force out of respect, and when he pulls out a homeless man, mid at the bottom, a homeless guy's at the dirt bottom. You got so shook by a homeless guy, you're holding a homeless guy at arms. You can get the level of that blatant force's corruption.
But it's the way he living, that he living on this like high alert. Like I had to watch out.
Right. He was on high
back.
alert.
Yeah.
At some point, he trusted himself. He respected his own life, right? Because if he had done that to another life, how dare he?
Yeah.
So as a respect to his own life, how dare I pull the gun out on the homeless guy? He tosses it away. Because Quincy never relinquished care for his life at all.
Nope.
He respected his own life enough to realize if I'm pulling a potential life-threatening weapon on some person at the bottom, I am
Must not be
just
living
like
correctly.
Bishop.
Yeah. He's like, I'm not living correctly.
Right. So he had a choice, right? And this is why he asked the question, like, what are you gonna do? Shoot me in the elevator? To shoot someone in the elevator, that's zero respect.
Right.
That
Yeah,
is
because then you just gonna use
right. That showed 100%.
Yeah.
That showed 100% that Bishop did not care about life. Bishop was not lying in the locker room.
Not lying.
By the lockers, he did not tell a single lie.
Serious.
He was 100%
Still
real.
pulled that shit out.
Right. He still pulled it out.
Yeah, it's like I said, his thing was like, yes.
Right. So I guess now we could relate it back to Fresh, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But you guys have any other thoughts about Juice? Anything you want to say about the film?
No, I think we all hit all the all the points. It was it was the messages, the double load of respect versus power analogy in the entire film. It's just Bishop's descent was way too quick for us to not see it more often.
I feel like
It's more gradual and fresh when we see how the situation progresses
How it develops,
more naturally. It was just like, hey, I went from damn, I have gun to I'm shooting my friend, and then immediately to like jump scares behind the locker.
Yeah.
So I was like, how did that?
Yeah, I agree. Definitely.
You skipped a bunch of steps for to see how far that would take you.
Definitely. At least with Fresh, before we get into that film, we see like those gradual moments pick up and see how they inform the way Fresh moves throughout it. With Juice, is more of like aside from him having to cover up Raheem's death, we don't see a reason as to why Pac has to turn into this monster.
What?
before our eyes.
Well, the thing
It's
is,
just more of like he got the gun and now like there's nobody that could talk to him crazy or like everybody has to follow what he's doing.
I feel like if the movie not showed us more of like Bishop on his own and him like throughout the whole like couple of days just slowly getting to a situation where he just like riles him up even more, then we would understand how that progression so quick.
Even a couple of childhood scenes with
I think it's
right. Like we just need more context to Bishop to say.
I don't think any of that stuff was necessary when you look at the film, like the way, like it's literally just an idea, an allegory of what power does.
Some people just crazy.
Yes. So like I feel like when he sees the power, yes, he now has the power to do whatever he wants. So he's going to do whatever he wants. I think it's like the idea in the film is power reveals who's truly behind.
But I think what we get stuck up on is the fact of like you had these guys saying they knew each other since
but the thing is,
so we thinking about it from like a human aspect.
I know, but
like, I knew this guy for so long.
Yeah, but do you truly know anyone? Is what I'm saying.
True.
You don't know. You only know what the person's presenting in front of them.
And yet, even still, the audience is blind, just as blind as the cast members, right?
Yeah.
I do think you have a good idea of what people are capable of if you know them since the second grade, right?
You would think, but I think the movie does a great job of delivering that message.
That you don't.
The movie is simply a singular example. What could happen if you don't?
I think generally speaking, yes, you have a good knowledge of somebody when you've known them for a long time. But there are some people out there that like me and Ray Sean knew a guy like that, where he was that kind of guy. Because I'll tell you a moment that made me realize that I probably couldn't trust this guy. So one day we knew this guy whose girlfriend was cheating on him, and like we found out, and like the other guy who I'm talking about pretty much revealed that he knew the entire time and didn't tell any of us because he didn't like the guy. And I just in that very fucking moment I was like, I think I gotta watch my back around this guy. I was like, I don't know. That's a weird thing to do.
That's a hard one because honestly, I wouldn't have given the scenario. He knew his girlfriend was cheating the whole time.
Yes.
That would not trigger that I could not trust someone. That would just trigger that this someone.
But he didn't even tell me.
Right, but that would trigger that this someone was so ashamed of something that they could not reveal it.
No, he thought it was funny. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
No, that's dangerous.
He thought
it was funny. No, never mind. I rescind all points. I rescind all points. That guy's dangerous.
Yeah, so in that moment, I was like, I don't know if I can trust this guy.
If you think it's comical that your spouse or significant other is cheating, and you make jokes about it with the friends who just figured out off a loose connection, I'm sorry, but please don't enter no relationships. Stay alone in your little box.
I'm trying to tell you.
You're only hurting yourself, and you don't really know what people are capable of doing.
Some people you never know. You never know. There's some. I think that's what the movie was trying to show you. That there's some people out there who are just so far gone.
Yeah, like even Pac hugging his mom at the funeral, or the guy he killed. Is just
the funeral scene was absolutely insane.
Like that, I feel like there's no better way of delivering betrayal than that. Like, yo, he's literally
and then he's staring at you as he's doing
and
it.
saying like, I hope they catch him. Like what?
Right? Like it clearly at that point because I know he didn't respect the cops at all. So that's why he's like, I hope they catch him because in his mind in his mind he's the guy.
He was chilling with the cops. Right?
He was chilling with the cops.
Yes,
zero respect for the
kill.
police.
Zero
so
kill.
when he said, "Oh, I hope they catch him," it's like, "Oh, I really do," but like in his mind, it's like, "No, they're not going to catch me. I'm just too nice."
I really do like the scene how like all of them are breaking down before the like officers because Quincy stays solid. Quincy was just, I don't know, blah blah. You had Steele, and off that scene we realized Steele was the more like emotional loyalty. He was really obsessed with just like gaining your feelings and doing the right thing, right? Whereas you have Bishop, who just zero fucks given. He's chopping up like they laughing together. He's so chill in the interrogation room, knowing he's guilty. Right. He's so chill. It shows like such a level of like delusion,
right?
Because you're the one who did it, and here you are. You know every single member that's left of your crew is getting pressed hard body.
Yeah.
You know you're not the only one who got caught, interrogated, and here you are choking it up, chopping it up, Like nothing's going on. You got your cigarettes, you got everything. You joking with the
The thing is,
officer. One dude.
you have no idea if one of them is going to give you up. You have no idea.
The craziest thing about this,
Well, no,
right after we see that, what's the next thing? The funeral. Right? So after that point, he lost all ordain, all
that should made him think he was invincible.
Right. He got such a feeling of power because like, yo, now the police are fucking with me.
But they can't catch me, and that's the point I'm trying to. That's a really good point. Is that when he's talking to the police and he thinks they're not gonna catch him. It's like at that point, the power I have that I think I have,
it's like
it now makes that whatever that is inconsequential.
Unstoppable.
They don't have the power.
Isn't it bizarre that this is a very important? After all that, remember when he was getting jumped by the dude before he killed the Puerto Rican gang member, right?
Right.
Who saved him?
No one saved him.
No, the police. Remember the police?
The first time?
The
first time, Raheem.
was the police.
The second time was police.
Yeah.
You can imagine how powerful that makes someone feel. You were just chopping up with the police.
Yeah.
Now here you are, just flexing. And
he was still talking crazy.
He was talking crazy.
His friends
That's why I say he was talking crazy. The friends, my friends, this, I'm still gonna run. I'm not going to run.
Yeah.
I'm not going to run. And when he didn't run, the boys in blue came for him.
Yeah, lucky.
You're right. We
had
blood.
But
But in his mind, he saw as a
he's
power
like the universe
delusion.
is ordained.
Right. You almost feel like everything's going to go your way after that point.
And it's crazy how like the comparison of his illusion of power, like the police's power is so small. My biggest concern right now isn't them. It's literally just no. It's not at that point. When the Hispanic kid pulled up, that dude's power was like the one he was afraid of the most.
Yeah.
Hey, like he in his mind, the police.
You know the film a little better. The police officer interrogating them. That's not Frank. The one who
because he introduced himself at the club that this is my name. Like and he went to Quincy, so he didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
So
I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if it was the same guy because now I think that they look kind of similar.
They look way too similar.
Yeah, they look kind of similar. So there are a couple of things I would have to rewatch the movie to like kind of confirm. But
I mean, in terms of because we can move on to Fresh.
Let's go on to Fresh.
Do you think there are themes of that kind of idea of power in Fresh, or is it completely different in terms of the
I don't think it goes in the direction of power. I think it's more of like, I think it's just more of manipulation in chess. That factors into power, but I think it's more of like how much I can trick somebody, like trickery and deception.
Yeah, that in itself is power.
Yeah,
I mean, I think that like you can compare it to Den of Thieves, right? Den of Thieves with O'Shea Jackson's character, everybody thinks that like he's like the guy without the least power. He's a little kid, whatever. Yeah. But he's actually the whole mastermind behind the entire thing. So you're like, oh, like this dude has power over his entire area of control. Mm-hmm. You just don't know what it is.
What is it with Fresh is you realize the kid was pushed to necessity. Right? Like it's almost like methodical. Like imagine you're playing chess and someone puts you in check. When you watch Fresh, you see that the young boy, the main character, he was just constantly always in check. Like he was just on that next move. Like, okay, I gotta move the king. I have to make the biggest statement. I have to make the boldest move. This is why he goes as far to shoot the dog, because it's like, okay,
explain that. Start off with that.
That's his queen.
Let's talk about the dog part.
Yeah,
the dog. He loved the dog to death. Right? He loved the dog. He was so upset at the kid fighting the dog, despite the dog winning and making money. There was money. Yeah. He could not see himself putting that dog in danger.
You felt it was necessary.
Right. And then he ends up going to fight his father. He's like, sometimes you gotta lose the queen. You too attached to the queen. Look at you, like his father playing him out on the board, saying like, look at your queen obsession.
Yeah, you playing as if you don't want to lose a piece. That's
right. He told him, he said, look, you're so attached, like.
And then he learns like.
Right. But in that same moment, did he not just lose his queen? He let his best friend die. Like
but see, that's the thing. That was him realizing that his father was right. Because he spent all that time trying to protect the friend, and then he sees the friend die. The lesson his dad was teaching him,
and that
happens right in front of him.
That's where the chess part comes in. So it's almost like I remember Ray was saying this when we first watched it. It was like the path with Chucky using him involved in the drug game and seeing like how he could use him almost as bait with him talking to everybody and bringing attention to the situation. It was like he used him as a chess piece, as a pawn,
as a queen.
in order to further his plan moving
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah.
The thing I have a disagreement in that I don't really know if that was Fresh's original plan.
Original
I feel
plan.
like
That's what we talked
I feel
about.
like
That's
Fresh
like the
really
last 20 minutes.
right.
I
I
think it was
felt
the
like
original
Fresh
jump.
really cared about that kid. Like,
Yeah, he didn't want him to die. He didn't want
But
him to die.
once he played against father and saw that the kid was honestly a complete liability, running his mouth, getting all the like clout fame that comes with just running these shits, fighting his favorite pit bull, coming with the gun, and despite being told, yo, put that away, keeps the weapons, like, nah man, and pulls it out. He saw the power as the liability. So get rid of that. Just gotta get him going.
I think it was more of a situation that developed. Like obviously, I don't think Fresh knew that from the beginning. Like I'm gonna use Chucky. I'm gonna use Chucky to further my plan.
Mhm.
I think it was more of like
He
He
realized
was backed into that corner.
he saw at one point I could use this man in order to benefit me.
But ultimately, he didn't want him to die.
Yeah.
I think it's not so much he saw that he could use him. He was backed into a corner. This
Thought
is
he was
the
forced.
only way left to win the game.
Right, that was my interpretation.
This is the only way left to win the game.
Right, like he's forced to make these like
Right.
wacky
This was the
plays.
only way. Right, because not only did he have to get rid of Chucky, he had to kill the dog. Right, so if it was just Chucky, I could see it. But what did he do next? He realized I had to kill the dog.
So Chucky dying was just more of like something that happened. It wasn't.
And he had to maneuver around it.
I don't think he ever intended for Chucky to die.
He didn't.
I think because even at chess, when you move that piece to that position, did you really think it was going to be
that
captured?
you're gonna lose it.
Right. Did you really think? You would never knew.
Yeah.
No. If you knew it was a possibility, you would
But
never.
you gotta expect certain contingencies.
No.
Right.
Because the whole thing is sometimes you have to sacrifice.
I know, but I don't believe him to be capable of sacrificing Chucky.
Oh, I don't think he wanted to.
Right. So if
But
he
it
did not want to, when he moved Chucky there to that position, he did not see it happening.
No.
So Chucky gets moved there.
Because
Now the dog has to die.
The way the film is designed, like when he calls Chucky up, like, "Hey, I can get you involved with the drug game. Like, we don't have to do this dog fighting thing." It seems as if, like, if you look at it from a base level, it seems as if like, all right, he's just taking attention from the dog fight. You're not thinking about, okay, I could use him as a way to distract another drug dealer. That
Who
I'm
did
like,
he
But
run for?
the point we're making is that like he was planning to use Chucky not in that way, in like some other
Right.
plan later on.
But also,
But then because something happened to Chucky, he has to now do some wacky maneuver to finish the game.
I'm gonna take it a little bit deeper. Who did he love more, Chucky or the dog?
The dog.
Man, did he really have? I feel like he fucked with Chucky though.
He did.
That's
he
the
did.
point.
He
That's
did.
why I'm saying the dog.
Yeah.
Because the dog.
Remember, the only reason he brought Chucky into this is because Chucky was fighting that dog.
Right.
Whose
He
dog
wanted-
was it originally? It was Fresh's dog.
It was the whole group's
It was
dog.
It was the group
Okay.
dog. They kind of like took
It was
it
like a
universal.
Yeah, he wanted to save the dog from dog fighting.
Yeah.
He was going to use Chucky and manipulate him to avoid this. Right.
What is it?
He had more. He had more concern for the life of a dog.
Right.
Him
Because
manipulating the crap out of Chucky.
he knew Chucky talked too much. He knew how crazy Chucky was. Chucky fighting your dog. So he said, okay, how can I save my dog? I'm going to bring Chucky into this game. Now Chucky's on the board, right? That
But
was
he expected him to be a loudmouth and talk and expose.
right.
everything
He
that's
was
going on.
expecting that Chucky would just listen, follow his word, do what he's gonna say. Chucky chose otherwise.
See, but he never really tried to stop Chucky at all. He never did. And then
He did when he told Chucky, "Yo, just throw it here. Like you
But
don't need that,
that was
man. You don't
already,
need that."
already too late.
Chucky only
But
died
then
as
what-
a kid
what
trapped
the-
under that car.
Remember,
because
he
was
seen
shot.
the people chasing him. Remember when he
Yeah.
went and switched the drugs because he knew they was going to get caught up.
But he wanted that
Yeah.
to happen.
It was part of the plan, but you need your pieces to.
But what I was gonna say though is when the friend found out that Chucky was dead, what did he do? He attacked him because like that's kind
Right.
of showing you.
But
And he didn't fight back.
he
Clearly
took the
showed
beating.
he knew
With
what he
no,
did.
he took the
He knew he
beating.
did.
He knew he did not want Chucky to go, so he tanked it full to the face.
So you
But-
felt like he did something wrong in that moment. Like he.
I feel like
he
he
knew he
felt
did
that
that.
he
Yes.
wished Chucky didn't do that,
Yeah.
and he did not intend to sacrifice.
See, yeah,
Chucky.
but it's like he didn't
He
intend
didn't
to
even
sacrifice him.
intend to
See-
get Chucky into the game until Chucky was fighting our
No,
dog.
no, well, yeah. Well,
Remember, Chucky was not in the game at all until Chucky started fighting that pit bull that he loved. He loved that pit bull queen so much that he only brought.
So you said the pit bull was the queen.
I see the Pitbull as a queen in the movie.
Chucky would probably be like a bishop or some other piece, and the Pitbull.
I would say Chucky would be the knight. He's kind of just in his diagonal direction. They could never agree.
I thought the queen was the girl he liked.
No, she died too early.
She died very early, but that was before he even had to sit down with his father about losing the queen.
So you feel like when
But that is part of
that
the
was
thing.
not the whole thing. You pray to losing your queen.
Yes.
Get rid of that piece. It's just too flashy.
Yeah.
Right?
so you feel like when Fresh lost to his dad and he was telling him that like that
But
was
wait a
speech
minute,
about you holding on to these pieces that you could get rid of.
Mm-hmm.
That was when his plan started to develop after that.
I think so.
Definitely for
But
sure.
also, I just thought of something.
I don't even know if it was a plan. I think that's when he saw the need for necessity,
Okay.
the need for sacrifice.
I was-
I don't think if that was necessary his plan. I think that's when he saw, okay, things have to,
Yeah.
you have to lose some pieces.
I thought of something just now.
Mhm.
Like, what if this whole thing was an FU to his dad? Because, like, what if the woman in the beginning, the girl that died, was his queen, and this was him showing his dad that you really should do things to, I guess, protect those who are important. That this whole thing of vengeance was because of what the guy did to the girl he
Yeah,
loved.
that's just really a
Like, what-
revenge
that's
arc.
Because his whole plan, right, it had to revolve around protecting his sister, right? Like
That too.
that had
Like,
something to do
his
with it.
sister had a big element because he wanted to take down
And
the
he
other
sees
guy.
the girl he loves get
Yeah.
shot down right in front of him.
And even though his sister didn't seem like somebody, even though that's family, like you want to protect them, it didn't seem like she cared for her own life or like she played the damsel in distress, like, oh, I need saving.
But he
I
had
would
no
say-
it didn't seem
choice.
like she had a problem with
So he had
the
no
way things
choice
were
but to do it for
I
her.
would say this is the kind of movie that if I had to recommend people to watch in a couple of years, if I had to recommend Fresh, I would say sit down and rank every character: pawn, bishop, rook, knight, queen, king. Just rank them in terms of chess piece based on how you feel and then discuss it. That would be perfect for that kind of movie. That would actually be very...
So would Esteban be the king?
Well, we don't know
Well,
who the king is because
For
Right.
the king is.
I
his
would say
sister.
I would say
That's his
make
number
two
one
teams.
priority.
he wants to protect.
Right.
But it's weird though because his sister, like throughout their whole interactions between her and Fresh, she seems like she doesn't give a fuck about her life.
Right?
There is
Seems like-
Oh,
no...
but that's even better.
But
That's even better because then the piece has no autonomy. You have to move the piece around as you.
I would say his sister. His sister was definitely a pawn, but was the other guy's queen.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. No, the
No,
sister is
no,
his
no.
king.
Fresh is
Fresh is king, and he has.
Ah,
to
so
win
he's
the battle.
kind of like baiting with his sister.
Right?
Okay,
His
yeah, I can see
sister
that.
is the one.
No, I can see that. I can see that. I like that. I like that. I like
His
that.
sister is gone. He had
Yeah, I like that. What's the sister for? This is king.
right. The queen was the girl he liked.
Or was the queen the dog?
I think the queen was the dog.
It's because the dog was after the girl. So I think
Remember, but there's a very significant chess move called the Queen's Gambit where you sacrifice a queen. Him shooting his own dog is very symbolic to that move where you sacrifice a
And
queen.
you see the dog, the queen at that point.
I saw that as the dog is a queen because the Queen's Gambit is a known chess move where you sacrifice your queen to win the game.
Because you got to think about it. He is right. Like I think that was the first
That's
time
the
in the
only
movie
instance
that
where
Fresh
he
ever
killed.
killed something.
Right. That's the
You
only.
gotta think about
instance
that.
where
Like he had a gun on him, but he ain't never had to kill him.
but in my eyes, the thing in a way, like I'm thinking of like the games you play as like one like stage of a game. It's
Yeah.
like, hey, like you lost your queen, right? So you don't have it on the board anymore. What's left? What's in your board anymore? Because he just lost a queen, in the game after he lost the girl. That's my understanding. Like, okay, like what's left on this like imaginary board in his mind? Damn, I just lost my queen.
Okay, so he
What
lost
else?
his queen, and then because in the chess game, he
Again,
lost-
the whole thing of the whole movie's one giant chess game.
Yeah,
and he's
yeah,
just playing long con.
So if I had to back your argument, I would look at and see if when his dad was giving him that talk, if the dad captured the queen versus if the dad was just
Right.
kind of roasting him over pieces.
Right.
Because if you're right, and his shorty that he cared for and the shorty that he had a crush on was the queen, and she got sacked in the moment, it would drive him to just do what's left necessary and throw away all the pieces just to win the game.
He had to
for
play.
the queen.
He had to play. Cause remember, like
Yeah. So I didn't see it that
He
way.
had to maneuver the pieces more and more carefully, and so like that's
Right, but he was also willing to sacrifice at that point.
right. And
the reason I say
and now at the part of the movie,
Right.
he's like, oh, you gotta sacrifice more pieces,
Right.
right? And that's when he's like, damn.
the reason
The dog started dying. He started fucking people's entire lives. At that point, because in the movie, the stage he's at in this imaginary chess game is okay, I'm gonna start second pieces now.
The reason I would not agree with that is because he was not the one to sacrifice his love, right? The love was
That's
killed
the
by.
point.
That was
He's
the-
not
That
accepting
was
it.
killed
That's
by
not
the opposition.
acceptable.
Right?
Well,
So
that's
if she was killed by the opposition, who
He had no
is the
partner.
queen in
Yeah.
the queen's gambit, which is a
No.
chess
But
move.
I'm saying like when you put peace down, you usually don't expect it. Like we were saying, you don't expect it to be taken. He had a plan for it,
But
then it got taken out. And
yeah,
he's
but
like,
at the same time, he was not the reason she was there. He was not the reason she was killed.
no,
He was not the reason.
that point in the movie was to tell you, hey,
Right.
your perfect plan, which you have set up, could be derailed at any time if you're not careful.
Yeah,
that was the point
You
of the
gotta
film.
focus on the significance of the fact his father saying you're too afraid to lose pieces. What's the most valuable?
That happened
piece
after he lost the queen.
I know, but
Happened
what's
after, yeah.
well, that's the problem. It happened after. So
So
if
you
you're
can't-
too afraid to lose pieces, because
But-
the only reason he's still afraid to lose pieces when playing his father now, because he just
And he
lost.
emphasized
He
like,
just lost his
you want my king, go for my king.
right.
That's what he kept saying.
He just
Yeah.
lost his metaphorical queen, but the queen on the chessboard game of the movie has to be the
He
dog.
said every other piece is a means to get to it, to
Right.
get to the king.
Right,
Even the
because
other-
at the end of the game, on the from a grand
Yeah.
perspective, yes, the shorter you love, the shorter you have everything, is indeed your woman, your queen. On the chessboard of what's currently going on,
Yeah.
the only thing he sacrificed of great value, of the highest value of Chucky of everything, was the dog. Why is the dog of high value? Because it dies after Chucky. The only one fighting it, the dog could live a peaceful life from now on. You had to take it out because you had to show the world that the reason Chucky is done is because of his dog fighting.
I see that, but what I'm saying that you're not saying that like that point in the movie, he lost his girl, the queen. He had a plan for that, and when his dad took her out, after, with that lesson after she died, it's like, hey, he places more value in the pieces
No,
he
no,
has.
no, no,
He doesn't have to have many left.
I got it. This is perfect. So
Right?
it's either a matter, did he know the lesson and was it reinforced by his dad, or did he learn the lesson when his dad taught him?
He learned it with the lesson as his dad taught.
Okay, so if he learned with his dad, my point makes sense. If it was reinforced with his dad,
no,
then your point makes sense.
No.
Because think about
It was reinforced with life as the film progresses.
His girl died before his dad gave him the lesson, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so his girl dies before his dad gives him his lessons. So if that's the case, you have to see his life and the chessboard are separate. But even if they're one and the same, right? If you're learning this lesson after you lose your queen, you did not sacrifice the queen.
Or at least he doesn't.
There is only
But that's
one.
what I'm saying. He
Or at
didn't
least he
sacrifice
doesn't-
the queen, but he lost it.
Yeah,
At
but
that-
he
doesn't
in the
achieve-
in the chess game.
Right.
With,
So
Yeah, but
there's
he doesn't see his life as a chessboard.
And
And
I gotta agree with Emilio because I
yeah, I
don't
agree
think
with Emilio.
because I don't think the girl, when you keep saying like a plan for her, like she was
She
a
was
love
just
interest,
there.
but it wasn't like she was stuck in a situation.
I
he
mean,
was
she
trying to get her out of it.
helped. I believe she helped reinforce the lesson as Husto was saying. When his dad told him that, it gets it dawned on him, and she became part of his whole methodology. But ultimately, I do think Emilio's correct in that the dog becomes a queen because it's now a conscious thing. Like after his dad gives him that lesson, that's when he sees life as the
Don't get me
chessboard.
wrong.
That's when he started setting up the chessboard in his room, and he like, yo,
Yeah,
no,
that's when he started playing.
I don't think that's what it was. I think that like yes, that was when he was starting to but I'm talking about the chessboard of the whole movie's inside a chessboard. That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
Where it's like, okay, it says where like it's being like threatened with this guy. That's a check. Fuck, I gotta do something. Queen, you're perfect. Your whole every chessboard
Yeah.
has there's plans to chessboard somebody that's someone moves whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm the other player. I'm going to your perfect plan depends on me doing how you want and what happen. So damn, your queen got taken. You didn't intend for that because that's not part of your plan. Set.
Yeah, she just
Your
got
pieces
shot
are
up.
more valuable. You start rerouting.
Yeah.
When you shucking the dog, the Chuck, fuck Chucky.
I want to
Chucky.
take it real simple, right? Because we gotta think. When did he learn his lessons that sometimes you have to lose pieces? It was already after he lost.
After he lost Chucky. After he lost Chucky, like damn.
No,
that was the
because
real piece.
He had the chessboard game before that losing pieces.
No. He had the chessboard game after his girl died, and then that was like, hey, your queen is
Right. So that's when.
and then when Chucky dies, just forget the lesson again. Damn, dude, you're too afraid to take the pieces, and that right after that, he kills a dog.
No, there's only one sacrifice, and you have to think what's
But the lesson at that point wasn't the sacrifice of queen. It was hey, sacrifice your
if
pieces.
he was
more.
really a mastermind and he truly learned his lesson, it would require that the piece he gives up be the ultimate sacrifice. If you truly
But
learn,
that wasn't the ultimate sacrifice.
if you truly learn your lesson in that moment, the best way to demonstrate it would be an ultimate sacrifice. You take the most valuable piece on the board and you kill it. That dog was making money. That dog was slaying people, right?
But emotionally, it wasn't the highest thing he had.
He loved the dog. He did not want the dog to die or fight. He did not even want to put the dog in danger. We can agree with
Because at
that.
that point, he was his most valuable piece left. He lost the girl. He lost Chucky.
No, but he did not want to put the piece in danger before he lost Chucky.
Because at that point, he was valuing the pieces. And then when he lost Chucky, like, damn, your pieces are very valuable, but you have to start using some of them as bait.
That's why I'm telling you, the number one reason to show that point would require the dog to be a very valuable piece, correct?
Yes.
Even if it's not the queen, it's got to at least be a rook. It's got to at least be on that tier. The problem I have with the girl being the queen argument is he did not really have any
connection,
jurisdiction to that idea of losing.
Nor was
he the reason she was there. Nor did he put her in that position.
That's what I'm saying.
Nor was he watching. He just happened to be there. She happened to be there.
I think
and
so. He couldn't feel responsible for her death in a way.
There was no influence on her move.
The only way
there was no influence on her move.
The only way,
right? Had he had some influence on her move, I could see it. And now I do agree that girl was more important to him than a dog. I know that.
Well, I mean,
it works. You would never catch
it works as supplementary material, like background to his initial lesson. Mm-hmm. His dad showing you that makes him reflect on.
I would say the girl dying is less significant than him having to kill his dog.
In terms of the film, yes.
Right.
It's less significant in terms of the plan, but in terms of his feelings being attached. That's the girl obviously is more important than the dog.
Right. But
in terms of
like
film, in terms of the film and the story structure, obviously the dog is
more direct to it, right?
Yeah.
The way they put these movies together, which is very intellectual and clever, is there is a very clear duality between his life versus his drug game, right? The things he holds dear eventually become part of the drug game when he realizes your big homie is fucking your sister. Right? Like that's when that's the merger point,
not just fucking your sister, but rubbing it in your face.
Right. That's the merger point.
Asking you if she's a freak.
Yeah, that's the merger point, right? That's the merger point, right?
Power without respect.
Yeah.
And then what happened? He gets his ass knocked off the board because it's power without respect.
Yeah. So that it's very convoluted. You can see it many different ways. I do know that he probably loved the girl more than the dog. I'm not gonna front on that. You would not catch him in the same scene shooting the girl for any reason, right? Like we're no fools. But do not mistake that for the game of chess he's playing in the drug game versus the game of chess he's playing in real life.
Well, I mean,
And it at the point of merger, it becomes a different board, right? Like let's say you're playing here, and we just merge the board on equal points terms. Because that's what happened in the movie. He eventually starts playing versus himself because we realize, okay, my chess life, what I'm doing in the little drug world, and my real life, he eventually merges them at some point. Says he brings his chessboard to his family and says, "Don't fucking touch this board, no matter what."
Yeah.
And he plays versus himself because it's not the real game of chess begins when he starts playing it versus himself, because it's his drug life versus his family in real life, right? So when he starts playing for himself versus himself, right? That's when the chessboard first initially gets laid, right? And he got taught a couple of chess lessons before that. Don't be afraid to lose pieces, etc. Because all that happened. The final thing is he goes to his father's home and says, "Yo, what's this board?" And the father says, "This." That's when he put the chessboards in places.
Yeah.
And from there, you have Chucky dying. You have the dog being sacrificed. You have all this.
Girl that he liked dying.
Right. You have all this. I think the girl that he liked died before he even put the chessboards together, and that's why I have a problem considering her queen. Like I said, some things are sequential in some certain sequences, and like what's in order.
Let's talk about.
No, I was gonna say real quick. What do y'all thoughts on the ending with him crying? Like,
wait. Well,
what do y'all?
I was gonna say before. Let's talk more about Fresh. Like, how
Okay.
do you think that whole like that idea of him going through that evolution to becoming this person? Like, how did you guys like look at that arc? Yeah, his evolution to becoming the person.
It was drawn out of necessity. Very different from like the protagonist or like antagonist of Juice, who always had their own like principles.
Right.
Fresh was kind of like beat and pushed into the corner to have no choice, because here he is. You're hustling people at the park, and your dad shows up, whoops your ass, like your father, like it
Not
really
even raising you, but giving you.
right. It becomes off the back of necessity. So Fresh was pushed into that corner to excel. He was kind of just like, okay, I'm gonna stick your hand in the dirt. I'm gonna see how bad you fight back. And he had to do it tactically, given he's a kid. It was very tactical, methodical, etc., etc.
What about you, Gusto? Do you agree with?
I agree with that. I also agree that it's also like just because in both these movies, Fresh and Juice are like they're basically representations of hypothetical lives and like
The hood,
like the hood and people like that and cultures at that time period. And so it's like, hey, like this is just a regular kid's story that you can find off the corner of like any street in Brooklyn, at that point in time.
Yeah, I mean, I thought his evolution was pretty believable because like you guys said, it's a situation where he had no choice. Like it's like his sister's in a bad spot.
Sister's a hoe.
Yeah, he's like he wants to help her.
He didn't really have anybody giving a fuck about him at that time.
Exactly. So it's like there's no one to help him but him. So he had to become, and at the same time, his dad giving him those chess lessons.
His dad.
So he's like, okay, you know what? I guess I'm gonna put my dad's advice into life. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna see if this works.
The thing about his dad though is like he's giving him these kind of like tools of these lessons, but he's not watching him play them out. So it's like Fresh could follow the lesson or try to follow the lesson, but if he fucks up, it's all on Fresh.
You can't tell him.
His dad is not there to see him through the missteps.
Yeah.
Right.
Kind of like if you lost on.
But isn't that what life is like ultimately? Because it's like your parents do so much to raise you, and you have to go off on your own and try things by yourself.
Yeah.
So maybe what we're watching here is like literally like the maturity.
I mean,
Fresh
God,
becoming
he's 12 years old, having
He was mad young,
every
bro.
situation.
Sure. But maybe the whole film,
Yeah.
that's what it's about. It's about the idea of becoming from a boy to a man. You know, like going out into the unknown, testing your theories and seeing if they work.
It's a very good transitional film from like youth to adulthood.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say the ending where he goes back to because he's told that after he got Esteban arrested that he's gonna be able to go into witness protection with his sister, and so one last time he goes to see his father and he gets the chess pieces out and he starts busting down the tears. So I was gonna ask y'all guys what do y'all think of that? Like throughout the whole film, we don't see this guy show any kind of emotion. Like it's just he's stoic throughout the whole time.
Oh, dude,
So why do you think he cried? And like, what do you make of that scene? Like, what?
It was more like a damn.
Yeah.
It was more like a damn. Like he, like in the face of all these things, especially the frequency of all he had to deal with throughout the entire movie, he had to stay resolute in order to carry out this plan. But it's like he's a kid. He knows he's a kid. But in order to finish this chessboard, in order to finish this game, I gotta stay strong. Gotta keep moving. And so when he at the very end went for a normal chess game with just a normal dude, it was like a damn broke out. Like damn, I was
But
not.
he was playing his father.
Right. I mean, yeah, but the crying was like I was not prepared. I am an 8-year-old kid. I was not prepared for anything I had to do throughout the movie. I was not prepared for this kind of drama that persisted the entire movie.
Yeah.
Like it's not. I can't hold it anymore. And so all the tears came out. Like I did so much things the last 3 weeks. I am not.
Because I looked at it as like when people go through so much in life and they get to the end of the road and it's like you feel like you won.
Yeah.
But it's like all the shit that you had to go through in order to win, it doesn't even feel like you won. Because it's like the people that had to die or or
All the
the
sacrifices
people
you
that
made.
had to get left behind for you to get to this point, it doesn't even feel like
A victory.
you're a victory, like you're a
Right.
champion because you wanted those people to come with you. So
Right.
that's what I took from it. Like with Fresh, it's almost like he did all this and he kind of feels good that he was able to help his sister.
And the outcome was still
But-
positive. He saved his sister, and he, they're leaving the hood. They're leaving all this danger and drama. But
Yeah,
like the way he got to it was again, he's like in middle school.
Yeah.
And he had to
Yeah,
maneuver. He had to maneuver like 2 different gangs,
Yeah,
multiple
young
thugs,
blood,
police.
bro.
Like he won the game. It gave me that sense like he won the game, but he didn't really feel like he won the game like he wanted to win it. You know, like we win, like we could come out in a victory, but like we know we could have did it better.
Yeah,
We know we could have got to the
Better
outcome better.
Yep.
And I feel like that's where he kind of like perceives it. It was almost like I came out and got to the point I wanted to, but it wasn't the way that I preferred it to be.
It wasn't a
But I did it.
satisfactory
Yeah,
victory.
it was
It was kind of
satisfactory.
like just at the last moment, it's
Yeah.
all over kind of victory where there's a lot of remorse.
Yeah.
What about you, Gio?
I mean, I'm just taking in everything. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to
We
say
know what it
I
is.
do like. I think he almost felt that like for me, I saw it 2 ways. In your head, you're kind of thinking, okay, all the chess playing is done. The only thing you have left to do is beat that deadbeat father who wasn't there, right?
We just cracked.
So this is kind of like, okay, if this chess shit is real, given all I learned, I'm going to play my dad, and I'm going to win. But as a result of realizing this is the final step, you break down before you even began. I saw it in that way, but I also saw it as like almost as if you've known that all you taught me got me this far, you would realize that like I know the game, and despite how much you beat me, like even if I lose now, I'm still going to feel bad that you don't even see that you taught me. Because like the dad was very condescending the whole movie, right? Because the dad was just like, you look at you. Like the dad was embarrassing him the whole movie. His dad literally pulls up just to
Even
embarrass
when he
him.
beat that when Fresh beat the other guy, he was like, man, you could have did it in less moves.
Yeah,
So he's
right.
constantly
So
being harsh
the
on him.
dad is constantly like in
Yeah.
the embarrass you, and it's kind of like I'm going to play you, but daddy, if only you know the game I played just now. Where I got.
Yeah.
Mind you, he doesn't say a lick to his father.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So
Ultimately-
because of that, like versus where he in real life he doesn't tell daddy what he's doing. He doesn't tell daddy shit, and daddy's over here condescending. Daddy, if only you knew that every time we played, I learned. So I saw it in 2 ways. It was kind of like either his final battle, he's relieved, he's ready to beat his father, or I wish my dad knew what I was
Ultimately,
fighting against.
ultimately, I saw it the same way like you guys saw it, and like everyone's been mentioning. Where it's like he now finally has a chance to now be a kid again. Like all that time he had to be pretending to be an adult.
Mhm.
So now here he is finally becoming a kid again. And what is a kid gonna do in a situation like this? Start crying. And like,
Yeah.
and I really like how it ends without like, cause you see his dad almost doesn't even know what to do. Cause like you said, his dad is hard on him the whole movie.
Shit.
He doesn't know.
Dad
He's
never
like,
saw that kid cry the whole
Yeah.
time. Imagine you roasted your son the whole time.
Exactly.
The first time you see him cry, you're gonna
exactly.
know what
So
happened.
you're just like, what do I do in this situation? So, but I like how the movie ends before we see what happens.
Yeah.
So we don't know if their relationship.
I would say, given everything, I don't think he beat his dad. I think it's just more just they probably got to talking, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe they didn't and they just played and he went into witness protection. He's gone.
I think if the movie were to continue and he played him, he would win. But I think if it became
No. It would have been bad to make him win
Why is that?
because the guiding hand is not meant to be beat when you do the right thing, right? Because that means if the guiding hand was proper, then
No, I'm saying the son wins.
right, but
I'm
the
saying
son is not
pressure.
meant to win because the guiding hand is not meant to lose. I meant to say, like the person who guides you. If you make it this far against all odds, and you have the guiding hand lose, it shows better judgment, and better judgment comes at the back of any past decision. Had you not had that guiding hand, you would have did better because now you're better for it. So I do believe that
So-
his father would have won
So
the chess.
you were directing the movie, you would have made the father win.
For sure. The father has to win because the
So
father's
would
advice.
you have continued the movie and let
Well, the
chess
son
happen?
has won in real life already. His father
you don't-
that beat his father's clapped out.
So
Like
would you?
his
So
father.
now, wouldn't that be an interesting thing to show the duality? That even
But
though
that's
the
the
son has won in
point.
real life, the father wins
Right,
in
right.
the
That's
game.
the whole point. You
Yeah.
either Wing at the game or you wing in real life, right?
That's interesting.
The games are meant to teach us.
Even though the lessons he took from the game helped him.
Right, because games have always been meant to teach us. Every video game, every game you play has taught you some lesson in some regard. But real life, it's for you to win.
So, which movie did you guys like better? Fresh? Because I remember you were asking this.
Yeah.
Fresh or Juice?
Fresh for me has the progression of his entire environment felt so much more understandable compared to Juice, where it was like a super gradual, super just incline. It was just like, wait, how do you get from A to B this far, this quick? It felt like he was naturally taking in his situations, and it was molding him into the more cunning, more vicious person throughout the entire movie when in regards to like the other people in his life. So I think like that little bit just edged out Fresh for me.
Okay.
It's just a clean movie.
What about you?
I'm going Fresh. I love Juice too because of like that betrayal and how like you can look at somebody you grew up with your whole life in a certain way and they don't live up to that. But Fresh is just more of like a chess game through and through. And I like how the movie told that story from the life of a kid instead of being like a older person. Because when you tell it from the life of a kid, you get to see how he actually uses his innocence or what they think is perceived innocence to thrust him in these positions. Like there's been many times throughout Fresh where they underrate him or they overlook him because he's a kid and he's young, but he's able to get into these doors and put himself into these opportunities because he can play off that. And like while we sit back and be like, damn, like that's so much for a kid to go through, in his mind, he's like a grown man because he's going through these things and it's not
going through it for a long time.
Yeah, and it's not really changing him. Like he's not really.
It definitely separates the age from the character.
I mean, he's not changing him, but he's not shaken by it.
Yeah,
it's just more of like, well, this is what I got to go through in order to get to this outcome, and to see somebody have to mature and to stay stoic and to not really be emotional during a time like that shows like back to what Huso was saying about like these time periods and people being in the hood and having to grow up faster than they would like to be. Then you see that evolution and just so many surrounding. I feel like there's so many surrounding parts to that movie that like we just talked about with all being a chess piece and a chess game. That I gotta give it to Fresh because of that. That's what makes it one of my favorite movies.
I mean, I have to say, I feel like as people, we always get so obsessed with like ranking things above one another. I feel like if I had to look at them, like Juice and Fresh would be similar, like they'd be at the same level. So I feel like they teach similar lessons just in different ways. Whereas like you said, in Juice it's more. I mean, in Fresh it's more of like a necessity thing. We have to do this thing because he has no choice. And it's the idea of like I guess Fresh would show taking the power and using it effectively, like using it without letting it go immediately to your head. And then Juice is kind of like the other side, showing you what can happen if someone takes the power and just does whatever the fuck they want with it. And like I feel like in terms of the evolution, sure, like in Fresh it's a lot more slow, like a slow ascent, right? But in Juice, I feel like it wasn't meant to be an ascent or a descent at all. I think it was just a revelation. Like it was cutting away, showing you who he really is. Like that's what it was.
You got to come to terms with it.
Exactly. The point is to show you. It's like you never know who someone really is until you've given them power in their hands.
And that's what they say.
Switch a whole different person in this world.
That's what they say about like things like money all the time being a symbol of like the root of evil. Like you give somebody what they want, and that's the person. Like that's a true test of who they're gonna be when you give them what they want. Like, are they gonna change? Are they gonna stay the same? And so in Juice, it's like kind of a prime example of that, where you give this man this power, and is he gonna still treat his friends the same after that, or is he gonna turn on them?
And we saw he turned on
He
them.
took the ladder. He took the ladder.
Yeah.
So,
But what about you?
I would say I prefer Juice, so I'm gonna say that off the back. I like Juice, but I'm going to go into Fresh a little bit. I do like Fresh's ability to show that the kid in his youth, in his ignorance, had no choice but to sit in the park, learn from his father, and apply it to real life. As a result, he grew up too quickly. He's following a grown-ass man's example. He's growing up way too quick. He's putting into real life. and he's getting into very dangerous shit that ultimately excels him to best possible scenario, which is the game winner, right? Sister's safe, everyone's safe, you're good to go. The reason I prefer Juice is more direct, less free,
Yeah.
because Quincy is the opposite of Fresh. He just already has the integrity, he already has the principles, but he realizes the situation has gone too far. Where you have Fresh, the kid is constantly manipulating the situation. Juice, you have Quincy is just the victim of every situation, the antagonist.
Yeah.
At the final moment, he rises up and does his thing. I like those stories better because I think you're not really here to trick people and manipulate people. I never liked the idea of playing chess with people's lives.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why I prefer Juice. I think Fresh paints a bad example that here we are, we're just, everyone in your life is just piece on the board.
Yeah.
Where Fresh is more of that cold, that integrity that I like to see in movies where you have to be true to yourself, and when the time calls, things will go your way off your own will. Whereas Fresh is, you will have to learn as quickly as possible. You have to realize that certain things are not meant to be valued and you're putting extra value on them. And you have to be in this constant wave of morphing to get your way. I think I'd rather choose the integral movie of Juice rather than that idea of you have to constantly adapt, despite the
That's saying a
idea.
lot, because when we watched Fresh, we were like, yo, turned around, he was like, this is a good movie.
Yeah, but Fresh
Yeah, like,
is good. Fresh is good, but that idea of constantly morphing, I think a lot of times people take it too far, and you have a lot of bad friendships off the idea that things are constantly changes, that I can constantly throw this person away. I only wish that Fresh was a little bit more grounded, less extreme to depict that, rather than, okay, your best friend dies, you gotta kill your dog, your sister's a hoe. It took it literally it took the idea of constantly the like wave, because you can't, no human's consistent. Like we go up and down in waves.
Right.
We have different moods, different volatilities.
So you feel like in real life someone would have fell apart and all that.
I'm saying that's a very extreme example.
I think that I like the extreme of Fresh because there isn't one moment in that
You have a
movie
chance to rest.
where like he goes to his dad and looks for validation, like,
Yeah.
hey, why don't we go out anymore?
Right.
You know,
He was never really.
Or why don't we go
thinking
catch a game? Or like you don't see that him get in touch with those kid emotions.
Yeah.
Where like you're at a young age and you want your dad to like
was honestly
places with you.
devoid of childhood. The whole
So
movie.
he was an old.
Even when his sister, he doesn't go up like, hey, like, you know,
I
why?
heard you
Like,
fucking
he
that guy.
doesn't.
He already knows.
He doesn't verbally tell her
Like
like,
he knows what it is.
yo, like, why do you hang with? Why do you treat yourself like this? Like, why do you do this to yourself? Like, as a kid, I'm thinking like, if I'm in that situation, right? Anybody should be. But I'm thinking about like, how can I come to terms with this person and be like, yo, like, what you're doing is not right. Like, you know, like I'm gonna try to get you out, but like Fresh tries to get them out, but without actually having a conversation with them.
He is almost like emotionless because he doesn't break down in front of none of the characters. He's solid, he's firm.
Except his dad.
He's almost like staring at chess piece.
Like, that's what got him through the rest of the game by being that strong.
And then that's the beauty of him breaking down at the end. Like, you don't have to be strong anymore. Who cares?
I mean, speaking of breaking down at the end, how do you guys like interpret that scene at the end where Bishop is falling off the roof, and his last thing is he's begging Quincy not to let go?
Well,
He was acting hard the whole movie.
Nah, but
Well,
that was just, I think, knowing Bishop's character, that was just a ploy. Because if he would have saved his life and got him back up on that roof, he would have tried to throw his ass off.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Like, it's almost
It was just
like
a plea for him to.
Right. It might have been off of Bishop. Bishop might have been trying to manipulate him to save him so that he could kill him later. But it also shows, for the first time, Bishop was powerless.
Yes.
He was on that, we keep running away shit.
Oh, and what did he do when he lost the gun? He was running from Quincy.
Yeah. Right. He's always not running away. He's not paid. So at the final moment, the beauty of it, he has to beg for. He's like, please don't let go. Please, save me. So at the final moment,
and what does Quincy do? Quincy's the ultimate antithesis to him. he has the power.
I ain't gonna let you go.
Yep.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
has the power, and he holds on to him, tries to save him.
Because Quincy only ever cared about respect, and he wasn't able to save him.
What do y'all think of the line that the random guy told Quincy? He was like, "You got the juice now." How do you interpret?
It just shows you that it's a vicious cycle. Because like even though he was trying to save him and he dies, to them it looks like he finished everything.
Yeah, he killed a gangster. He killed like a big dog.
So it just shows you how that theme is gonna forever be throughout the community.
Because it was like he told him that, and he just looked. He kind of looked at him funny, like
it's
not something
he
that
shook his
I
head.
strive for.
He literally shook his head at him.
Something that I had.
Remember, Quincy was always second in command. At best, he was second in command to Raheem, right?
Yeah.
Best he was second in command. Quincy had no power struggle. They even had to convince Quincy, yo man, you got DJ. Anyone can win this. Like just go right. They really had to egg him on to go forward. He starts getting forward. He's like, yo, I got the show. They say, okay, yo, you got the show. We're gonna spin this deli before you in. And he's like, yo man, like what's up? I got the show. He was very susceptible to like that peer pressure.
Yeah.
I don't really care. I'm with my crew.
And then the movie thrust him. He has to get off the fence and choose a side.
Right. So now when that guy says you got the juice, he almost can't understand it because here he is. The only person left he has is Steel. And Steel was just always remember Steel.
Steel could have
right, but Steel said Steel with the Steel. Steel was boastful. Steel said, "I got the juice." Like people respect me, and Steel has.
And the thing about like when they talk about power and people that they claim it, there's always going to be someone beneath that's trying to go after you.
Yeah,
so it's like you can have the title of juice,
exactly.
but then who's going to
come and try to take the juice from you?
So it's like, do you want that? Do you want that position?
You know, it's funny you mentioned it because I was just
because you become a target.
I was just talking about that in a YouTube comment section. Like there was this there's this guy named Hamza. You probably know who Hamza is. And Ray knows who he is. Hamza's like this big self-improvement guy, right?
Indian dude?
Yeah, Indian dude.
Okay, I think
People been making a lot of content about him, coming at him. And I'm trying to put it in context. I'm not a big fan of Hamza. I don't really care about him. Right?
Hamza got the juice or no?
He's okay. I mean, in terms of this and what I'm about to say, he is the character who has the juice here. Because I'm trying to explain to his fans. I was trying to explain in this comment section. I was like, the reason why so many people are making hit pieces and videos about your guy is because he's top dog right now. And I was like, all the upstarts are coming for his power. I was like, you guys just gotta accept it and hope he doesn't just shut down his YouTube account because it becomes too much. So it's like what you were saying, like when you have the juice, constantly people are gonna come trying to.
It kind of reminds me of like Afro Samurai, where you have the like number one headband everyone else. But you got number two, and they know number one is good. They just going for a lesser command. Yeah. The thing is, people are always trying to usurp, overstep, and dominate each other. Like for some reason, people don't get it. They cannot excel in their own realm. And they feel better for stepping on someone that they feel is better.
And then they're so fucking confused when they try to dominate you.
Right.
And you're just like, and it just doesn't work. Like you're not trying
because
to fight.
Their goal is to step on someone that they perceive is bigger and better than them. If they feel they can do that, they feel accomplished.
Yes.
It's a stupid mindset because everyone who is wise knows to just compare yourself to yourself. But better yet, at what point does beating someone in a simple competition under any grounds create like God right to be better than someone, right? Like let's say someone's X this better than you or X this. Does that create like a holy right that they're just better for you to the end of time? That they just dominate you forever?
Because then ultimately they could either become better than you now in the same thing you just beat them in, or it could turn out, okay, I'm not good at this, I'm gonna go do something else.
Or you're just better at them than everything else except that one thing. Like at what point do they get the God right to sit on their little throne of the little throne of self-delusion saying, I'm better than this person. And yet these same people who sit on that same throne of like, I'm just better than you, are gonna be the same people running around like, oh, everyone's created equal rights. You know, they're all for the peace. Except when those small glimpses of time where they feel better than you. Other than that, they're all about the peace.
Heck, a lot of the time that morality shit is just them trying to dominate you and like, I'm better than you as a person.
They want to feel better than me as a person, but if you have that idea that you have to step on me in the current to be better than me, you're not really a good person, right?
No, they're not.
Right. So it becomes very blatant the deception of the hierarchy. Right there's a hierarchy. People feel better than you for looking better than you. They feel better for X skill, X skill, X skill. In that hierarchy, there is no evaluation of their own self. Right? They really cannot see what they are doing to others. That's why you have to have some level of like self-reflection when you interact with people. And if they lack that, they'll lack it till they get decimated. Right? Like, it's kind of sad, but if you really feel better than someone for X reason, till you get beat at that reason, you'll feel that way forever. Imagine if I was a really good video game player and I said, okay, I beat all my friends, I'm better than all my friends at this game, and I built my whole superiority off of just being better at them than at one game. The day I get beat at that game,
It's all you had.
it's not only all I had, but suddenly I'm going to look at the guy, okay, beat me at the game, I better have X, Y, Z, Z, X. I'm going to go through the whole alphabet of why I'm better than him, because I'm good at sewing, I'm good at this, I'm good at this. I'm just going to list a bunch of random skills, challenge him everything.
If it's all you had, then you don't have anything.
Right, but it creates ignorance because, you won in the game. So what? You won in the game.
What if you're an idiot? You're going to think this guy is so much better than me, he beat me in this
Right.
one thing.
You almost create your own
downfall.
You create your own self lack of confidence, and you create your own pride.
Yeah.
Pride comes before the fall. We all know this.
Yes.
You should not have a single aspect of your being be your sole pride.
Yes.
You should actually view people as on your level, decent character, decent people. You have to almost trust every man. You have to trust every fellow individual to be of decent character, decent something to the point where they can stand and live equal to you.
Yeah.
The obsession with competition has created such a divide in men that they really got people feeling bad about their dick size.
Yeah, this is exactly.
They got people feeling bad about shit they can't control. They got people feeling bad about everything.
Yeah, you read
because they're so obsessed in this competition measurement.
Because
And all this other bullshit that does not matter.
Because
before the end, at some point you will be devoid of your flesh.
Yeah.
At some point you will be devoid of your accomplishments.
Your
At some point someone will be stronger, better, or get the upper hand on you.
Yes, you'll never be top dog forever.
Right. These are natures of the land. So if you get caught up in that competition, you're breeding your destruction.
Yeah.
Your key is simply to be self-sufficient.
It's like two things, right? First thing is, yes, that idea of men are always in constant competition and they
Look
never
at what men build when they work together.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at all these fucking buildings when they work together.
Like, I notice a lot of time when I try to communicate with men, they're so apprehensive. They're trying to and I'm just like, dude, lighten up. I'll talk to women, and it's funny because you're taught that women are scary and blah blah blah. But I talk to women and they open up much faster all the time than men do. Why is this woman opening up to me so fast? And I'm 3 times her size. And this dude, me and him are on the same level. And he's it's like trying to pull teeth from him. My fucking roommates, that's how they act. But then the other thing.
You can't have every man, I'm going to say this, every man need to leave alone, bro. Don't have no roommates.
Soon.
Give me some time. Build your own kingdom.
Yeah, you got to have your own kingdom. Live alone or got your own little box, bare minimum.
I mean, it is my place.
Right, but your box got needs, bro. Toilet, tub. If I can't be on the Johnny whenever I want.
Well, I mean, it don't bother me.
But if I can't be in the shower if I can't be in the shower for 10 hours,
give me some time.
But that's what I'm saying. But it's very important for your own sanctity. You gotta have that access.
Walk around the crib naked.
I
mean, I do shit like that anyway, to be honest.
I mean, if your roommate is cool with it, you got that privilege. I fuck with it. Not some guys don't even front on nudity. Yeah. Some people growers, some people don't.
But anyway, what I was gonna say though is the other thing about you'll never be top dog forever. There was this study they did where they had they put these guys in a room to see who was gonna assume the role of leader. Then every time they'd have these guys, one guy would rise up and become the alpha dog, the alpha wolf or whatever. Then they would send other people in the room. And each time, with the amount of people that sit in the room, another guy would be more alpha than the other guy. And the guy who is less, the guy who lost that battle, he hangs back. And the new alpha takes the role. There was never more than one. Every time, the guy who was the most confident and most brash would take the leadership role, and that just kept happening over the course of this experiment.
And did they end up fighting at some
No,
point?
they didn't fight. Each time, the guy would just recognize that the other guy was the superior.
This is a very but this is a very important aspect for all men to understand.
Yeah.
Yielding does not create superiority. People have this idea that if I yield to you today, you have been bested or you're better than me. Yielding is a proper strategy in making sure that your idea gets done. Right? Like if me and this guy have the same idea, but he wants to butt heads on me with something that doesn't matter, I will yield instantly because the rest will be detrimental to the group.
Mm-hmm.
People have this iconic view of the alpha that, the alpha's just a top dog, he's going to get everything. The alpha is sharing the ideas of every second, third, fourth, fifth strongest man because they can always gang up on him. So when you're a wise man who seeks to accomplish a goal, being in charge does not matter. And when you realize being in charge does not matter, you yield appropriately. If you want to take the leadership role and you're headstrong on it, go ahead, take it because it will not interfere with my goal, the group's goal, and our destination. Mm-hmm. The biggest mistake men have made was believing that if I yield or if I lose that top spot, I am lesser
person.
I am lesser than the guy in the
but also
spot.
less as a person.
Right. It goes both ways, but it's not reality. The reality is, what is my goal? What is the group's destiny? Yeah. If I'm the leader of the group,
or even what is your individual destiny? Maybe
right. Either way,
yeah.
Let's assume that my destiny is shared with the group. Yeah. What is the new leader's destiny? What is the group's destiny? And will we get there? Until we won't get there, I have no reason to oppose the leader. So we may disagree with, Eric, how much water is in here? 10 millimeters, right? You might say 15. If I thought I was alpha, we'd be fighting about how much water is in here, right?
Yeah.
Right? It becomes a stupid, unnecessary, unproductive, detrimental argument to advancing our goals. Remember, you will never lose respect for yielding because even the guy who you yield to recognizes that you yielded. So if you tap out of that competitive like alpha delusion, suddenly you start to realize that the whole world is just built on men working together and it does not matter who's in charge. And remember, novelty is always fresh in the group. If a new guy comes along, he shares our idea, okay, take the leadership role for a bit. I had it before. Yeah. I had it for 5 years before you came here. Take it for 1, take it for 2, take it for 3, take it for 5, take it for 6. I'm here, I've been here for 11. Elder. That's what they would call me at the end because here I was, I yielded. I've been in the group for 11 years. Oh, you ruled for 6? The day I speak out, when your ideas don't interfere with the group.
You definitely have to be conscious of that in a group setting because I remember you saying this. You were saying this about a woman at the time that she was saying things that could get the men that she was with in trouble and in danger. But like when we look at it just from a strictly male aspect, like when you are acting alpha or acting tough, and you got some guys behind you that might not be on your level of toughness or might not be about that.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like you and you're not aware of this.
You're putting
or you are aware of it. And you don't care.
You don't give a fuck.
Your actions not. It's funny though. Your actions are beyond you.
Yeah, you put your
they're affecting other people's lives.
For sure. Because you remember the situation I was in where I was with that guy and we picked up those 2 girls and that group of niggas walked past and I knew it was over. I knew they were gonna say some shit, and in my head I'm like, all right, so. I don't know.
You might be able to hold your own.
I was like, because in my head, it's like, all right, even if I'm able to take out 2 of these niggas and book, then those other is like the other dude, he's getting fucked. The chick is getting, they're all getting fucked up.
And that's where yielding has power, as we were saying, because you being considerate for someone else from you.
Yeah, because in that situation,
you don't want to put them in danger.
In that situation, I yielded hardcore.
Yeah. But that's
those niggas walked past, they started saying shit. I just ignored them. I was like, I looked at the girl.
That's the move for someone who really got the juice. Someone
ignore them.
What is more powerful than making sure that everyone in your group was okay?
Exactly.
That everything goes less than disastrous. Exactly. That's true power. and it comes in many different forms. There are going to be many times in your life where the best thing is to just do nothing.
Yeah, to do
Right? And you should not feel powerless for having done that. You should feel wise.
Yeah.
Because wisdom is
Yeah,
underrated.
it's because even another situation like this. I remember I was telling you guys about this on the train, minding my business. Yeah.
Yeah, what's up? Make it quick. I'm just going to call.
He's gonna let it finish. Some juice. Some juice. You got the juice.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever. Anyways,
Bye.
what I was gonna say is I'm on the train, minding my business. This guy gets on the train, starts grilling me. I look up at him, mostly out of confusion. I'm like, why is this guy staring at
When
me?
he was reading the book.
Yeah, I'm reading I'm reading Death Note, which is important. The whole thing is about power, right? I'm reading Death Note. I'm just sitting there chilling. The guy leaves. I'm like, okay, whatever. Then suddenly he comes back, slams himself in the seat right across from me, and starts grilling me like this. Leaning over, I'm looking at him, and for a second, I was enraged. For a second, I was angry. I remember I told the viewer I felt the bloodlust. I was like, I felt it for a second. I was like, I should really. But then I stopped. I was like, wait a minute. Say this guy's probably an idiot. And if he's not an idiot, he has something that's making him feel like he's so powerful.
Yeah, he got the juice.
He's got the juice. So in my head, I'm like, if he has the juice, I think maybe the best course of action is just to ignore this guy. So then I ignored him, but then I did something stupid right before I ignored him. I laughed at him. I started laughing at him in his face. I was like this.
Okay, maybe it's the right thing to do.
And then looked down at my book.
Okay.
I ignored him for the rest of the train ride. And this idiot sitting there grilling me for the whole train ride as I'm reading the book. And I'm just pretending he's not there. Look at that shit, man.
He on that clown time.
That was Bishop right there. That was Bishop. That was Bishop.
Yeah, you gotta realize, like, you're really walking into some real demon dudes. Like, they're up to no good. They're on the bishop. They don't care about their own life. I don't even care about
you.
That's it. They really on that side. Now, what can you possibly gain for even just having a brief conversation with a man who does not respect his own?
Yeah.
There is nothing to be done.
Look,
There's nothing to be done here.
Remember what happened to you with the character we warned you about, and he took you down a spiral?
Yeah, but even that guy has respect for his life, so I would listen to him, right?
Yeah.
It's just too dangerous. Like, certain things are just too dangerous to do. If I respect my life, I'm not going to do it.
You just don't want to be around those kind of people, yeah.
Yeah, because like having the juice seems nice, but it's also like in the case of Q, you could have gotten it inadvertently, and it's not something that you want. Like, you don't want to be living with that pressure, or like looking over your shoulder.
Plus, he also had a lot of things going for him. Right? He had a lot of things going for him. He had that baggy nurse.
Yeah.
He had that nice DJ gig.
Yeah.
Queen Latifah was
good
doing it. He was on his way up. Like, that's the worst part about the movies. The guy was on the way up till he got worse.
That's the whole theme of Dune right there, where it's like Paul Atreides gets thrust into this role he doesn't want. He has to become this fucking, not just a leader, but like a fucking messiah. Like part of the whole religious thing. He doesn't want it. He doesn't want it. But then at the same time, he has no choice because he can also see the fucking future. And he sees that if he doesn't do it, the alternative is worse.
Yeah, that's nuts. I would hate to see the future.
Yeah.
Rather be ignorant.
Be responsible for the choices.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Coming up.
That's a huge part of it. He wishes he was ignorant. Towards the end of the movie, I haven't seen the movie, but the book. Well, 2 books. Towards the end of Dune Messiah, that's what he's talking about the whole book. Like, he just wishes he could be free of this vision, like being able to see what's gonna happen before it does.
For trusting the vision. To be free, he could have just ignored it in the first place.
True.
If it came to be, it
So
came to be.
you picked between Fresh and Juice. You picked Juice.
No, I'd say they're both about the same
Equal?
level.
Okay.
Yeah, I picked Juice. And then you two picked Fresh.
Yeah, we picked Fresh.
All right, fair assessment. I think we got through most of the ideas of the movie, and
Right.
I guess
So,
we can wrap up this.
Wait, one more thing I want to talk about. I think Puss in Boots 2 is an allegory for World War II. I mean,
Yeah.
so you guys want to, actually, want hypothetical before we close everything out.
Yeah.
Forgot to speak English for a second, but hypothetical. All right. So you just shot your homie. You shot him dead,
Okay.
right? You going to the funeral after?
Fuck no, bro. I think that, like,
Let's say it was on accident.
Oh, sure.
I say, yeah, I'm going.
about you? What about you?
But if it's an accident, yeah, I'm going.
If it's accident, I would ask for forgiveness in front of the funeral.
You're gonna admit
Confess.
that
You gonna commit? I mean,
Yeah,
confess.
but no. If it was an accident, right? Like if it's an accident, I would have duty to go to the funeral, ask for forgiveness, and confess.
They're not gonna see your ass offended.
Yeah, but even if they throw me in jail for 10 years, I would tell them exactly why I'm in jail. I shot my friend accidentally, and I confessed at the funeral, and now I'm
If
here.
it was on purpose, you're not going.
If it's on purpose,
I think
do going get me out of the case? Like if I did that shit on purpose, does going aid me in like getting off the hook?
I think on purpose is kind of a little bit disrespectful. You come to the funeral.
Yeah, but if you're doing it for
lie to the
juice
fuck-
reasons, you gotta do it for that power reason. If it get me off the case,
That's
I'll
what
be
Pac
there.
did.
Yeah, but
Right, get me off the
let's say it has nothing to do with getting you off the case.
Okay, if it got nothing to do with, oh no, I'll stay my ass home.
Right.
Stay my ass home. That's too mean. I already killed the man. What I'm gonna do there? Like I already killed him.
Wait, you guys,
What did
They
that
lied to his entire family about like, oh, damn, I killed the catch the
But,
killer.
but it might.
That's
But if you a day
disrespectful.
one homie, like in the case of Pac, you might have to show face, or it's gonna look.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That-
So
that's
if
what-
it
that's
aid
for
me,
the case.
if it aid me, I'm
That's
gonna
the
go.
case, yeah.
If it don't aid me, I'm not gonna be there.
I
He's
think-
giving you two answers. He's
I-
giving you the ref answer and the Light Yagami answer. Where like Light Yagami is showing up to the funeral, 100%.
Yeah, if it gets you off the case,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to do what you gotta do. But that being said, if it was just,
Right.
I would not do it. It would be
I
very.
feel like if it was like, you know, you got up until the point you showed up that okay, like it's your homie, whatever, like we're reluctant,
Mhm.
and then he started just lying to people's faces with the
Yeah, he started overdoing it.
The mama.
He's hooking up on him and making eye contact
Oh
with you
man,
and
I'm
doing
so
it.
sorry. That was my best friend in second grade.
I hope they catch him.
I hope they catch him.
No, my fucking.
That was like, who's that guy from Gargoyles he talking about? Xanatos?
Xanatos, yeah. That was
That's my
that's the kind of, oh, actually, man, Fresh had that Xanatos mindset. Fresh had that ultimate mindset. But the thing is, so like, I think for me, it's like it depends on like why I killed this motherfucker, right?
No, you gotta take it to a read. That one gotta get too deep.
Because
Do it matter? Is he the accidental or on
okay,
purpose?
let's say I killed him, but it wasn't just like it was a situation where I had no choice, right? Like say I had to kill this dude for some other larger reason. Now, do I show my face at the funeral as a sense like if I actually respect him?
No.
If I actually like the guy and I actually
Only time-
regretted killing him.
The only.
You know what I mean?
No, the
Oh, if
only,
you were great, kill him. Yeah, I would show up. If I was like, damn, I did some dirt, I would pay my respects. Like, sorry, B. I'll be in the casket.
Like I really wish I didn't have to do it.
I'm sorry. That's why I did you in like that, you know?
Yeah.
You hugging her mom to tell her like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm hugging the mom. I'm not gonna lie. If it's the case where I had no choice, I'm hugging the mom. Like, yo, I'm so sorry. I would never say some shit like, I hope he get caught. I would never say some shit like, I'd be like, oh, I'm so sorry, man. Like, damn, I'm really sad to hear about your son died. I ain't gonna confess no guilt, but I will never say some foul shit like, I hope he get caught.
I hope they get that now. I hope they work in 24 hours.
I would rather than anything I say think I'm suspicious, but if it had to be done, I'm
that's
guilty.
you being
I'm
a
guilty.
dick for no reason, but I think already in the ground. Just
No,
calm
that's
down.
being worse. Like you're literally insinuating that it's not you when you say I hope they catch him.
Right, like some grimy shit, bro. Like, honestly.
Yeah.
Jesus, that was crazy.
Alright, shit.
Well, anyways, I suppose that's all we got
That's our
left.
very long-winded and
Very long-winded.
very inebriated.
That was at least like a 2-3 hour conversation over all that.
Probably
That's
about
how good the movie's all.
I'm assuming really like about 2 hours. 2 hours.
Inebriated review.
All right, guys. Catch you same bad place, same bad time. Vanguard out.
Same bad boy shit too.